This is the Tech Support Guy Show, episode 45 for Sunday, July 17th, 2011. Google plus Won't You Be My Neighbor? Yeah. Welcome to the Tech Support Guy Show. I am Mike Cermak, known on the site as Tech Guy, and thank you for joining us on the Tech Support Guy Show. You can find past episodes at techguy.tv. You can find the forums at techguy.org, and all of the show notes and links and everything we're going to talk about will be up on techguy.tv. So, with me, as always, is Brian Hansen.
Hey-o.
And Danny McCarthy.
Good afternoon.
And thank you both for being with me today. I appreciate that. How are you guys doing today?
Great. It's hot.
I saw Dan's status here the other day was hooray for no air conditioning.
Yes. The central air unit, the compressor went out. Apparently my AC unit was hit by an electrical storm. And the controller board was fried and the compressor was fried.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But is up and working now?
In here. No, it has been out since Monday.
Oh, man. So how warm is it in your house right now?
I don't know. I don't have a thermostat.
You don't have a thermometer either? Your computers aren't overheating, though?
No, my computers are not overheating. I haven't actually even thought to check just how hot. It's hot enough to make me sweat. We have a couple of window units that we've put in the kids' rooms, but the common areas we're just leaving hot as balls.
Is that what it shows on a thermostat? Is that one of
right.
the readings on there?
Actually, right now it says cannot communicate with indoor unit.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Do you have your air conditioning working though, Brian?
Well, so our house is from the 1890s, so we haven't installed central air yet. But we do have window units in, but that was the thing I was describing earlier, is one of them sounds like a tractor trailer during the night. I think it's quickly on its last legs on its way out.
We have I don't know if I told you guys, we have a building in Hagerstown that we're working on now, and the air conditioning in the top part of it is not working. They're replacing it. We're putting a new unit in. And, of course, it would be like the hottest frickin' week of the summer when we decide to do it. So, yeah, that's been fun. I was just down there yesterday sweating up a storm, sitting in a seat, punching down cables. I was like, I'm not even moving, and I'm sweating. So, anyhow, that was great. So let's jump right into a couple things. First of all, the status that I read about Dan here that said, hooray, no air conditioning, was not on Facebook. It may be on Facebook as well, I don't know, but I didn't read it there. I was reading it on Google+. So yeah. I know you both are now on Google+ because you are the tech experts that you are, and always have your fingers on the pulse of the tech happenings. First of all, we should describe for those who somehow haven't heard of it what Google+ is. Who wants to jump on that description?
Go for it, Danny.
I'll sum it up into a single word or a single sentence. It is a Facebook clone.
I was going to say I could do it in a single word. I'll just say Facebook.
Right. It is a Facebook clone. It has a nicer interface, in my opinion. It follows the simple design that Google has gone with, and which attracted me years ago to Google search engine alone. I think it incorporates all of Google's various utilities and whatnot and services very, very nicely into a single interface. Privacy settings are more transparent. There aren't a lot of people on Google Plus just yet, though.
Well, and there's good reason for that. There are very few invites going around. I've had many people email me asking, "Hey, do you have any Google Plus invites?"
My wife was quite tickled to be the one to send me the invite. She had a friend who is also a geek and who posted on Facebook, "Does anyone want a Google Plus invite?" And she, of course, jumped on that, sent it to me, and said, "Ha, I beat my husband." So you're right. The invites are scarce, and right now, I was just reading an article prior to the show that the gender is heavily weighed toward the males. In fact, there's an article out there that says more women are joining the Google Plus Sausage Fest.
But it was heavy. It was like 90% or something male.
Yeah, those statistics have since been found to be inaccurate. It's more like 65-35. 65% male, 35% female.
So if there are any ladies out there looking to get themselves a good geek, boyfriend, Google Plus might be the place to go because, it's so hard to find geeks online.
Right. Yeah.
So one of the things I liked about Google Plus, Buzz, I don't know if either of you remember Buzz at all. Google Buzz.
It was around for about a week. I think I remember that.
Well, it's actually still around, and Buzz is a little bit like Twitter, if you will. Simple status updates and whatnot, but it incorporates Google Buzz into Google Plus, which is, I think, pretty neat. The way you can share with various circles, as Brian was talking about before the show, it's a lot easier to maintain that separation between what are family and what are friends. So if you're using Picasa, for example, and you've got an album you want to share, with family only, you don't want, strangers or acquaintances, if you will, just acquaintances looking at pictures of your kids. Well, you can share with just your specific circle, your family circle.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Facebook doesn't really give you a way to do that, do they?
Not with necessarily a group of people. I think you can limit it to specific people.
Yeah, like I can send a message to Brian, but I can't have a Brian stream per se.
Right.
Yeah, it's not
one of the down.
Right, like that's what Google Wave was supposed to be, the ability to have a stream with each individual person, and then you could merge a bunch of your streams together to create the wave. And then you could selectively opt out of the wave temporarily and then move back in and yada yada. So far, I'm not seeing that type of functionality on Circle.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. And that it's an interesting note. Is this going to incorporate some of the wave functionality? I think that would definitely be, if you make it a collaboration tool on top of a social networking tool, I think that's beneficial.
Well, and Wave got off to a pretty rough start because they had some of the privacy issues not quite sewn up whenever they were doing it. So I think that this might revitalize it a little bit.
Now, I wonder about, because we talked about it as the Facebook clone, from a social update, social status thing, that's partially true. But at least if you listen to like Bloomberg News and they're talking about Zynga and their IPO coming up, they make it sound like 50% of the time people spend on Facebook is playing social games like Farmville and those types of things. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that crap, for lack of a better word, on Google Plus yet.
Yeah. So people will want an API, though. They will want to be able to add their own stuff to it and be able to talk to it.
And Google will make that available to them eventually. But I'm hoping that we don't see the Farmville and the Angry Birds and the other crap content that clutters it up and just makes it disgusting. I am tired of being asked to host somebody's garden.
Yeah. Well, I blocked Farmville and I blocked a bunch of those different apps. That's the nice thing. Facebook does give you that option. You can just block particular applications.
True.
Yeah.
So
one of the downsides to Google Plus, even when more invites go out, is that you have to have a Gmail account.
You have to have a Gmail account. Well, you have to have a Google account. Whether or not you use Gmail, I don't think is relevant.
Well, if you have a Google account, I believe you have a Gmail account.
Yeah, I think a Google account gives you Google Calendar, Gmail, Documents, Photos, which used to be Picasa, and they're renaming, all the other stuff.
Now, you can actually, I'm sure you're aware, Mike, you can host your domain with Google, and that is, in fact, a Google account.
Right.
But they have not made the Google Plus available to those Google accounts.
That's
so
weird.
It's strictly only Gmail users.
For example, right now, if I go into my, accounts? Oh, shoot, I don't know how to do it in this. Crazy Google Plus. Somewhere, if you went to accounts usually in Google, it would let you see all of the Google products that your account is set up for.
Yep.
And while I'm in Google Plus, I don't see where to do that. But I'm sure that there is some way, but if I just go to Google, you can see that now. And that could be that the Google hosting, domain host and apps and whatever else is not part of that. But for example, I go in now to my account. Here we go, Google Accounts and google.com/accounts. And it shows me my products, and it shows all the products, which are substantial. You got Google AdSense that I use on the website, Google Analytics that I use on the website, but then there's Google Checkout. I don't know if you guys have used that when you go shopping online. That's kind of nice. Google Docs, Gmail, Google Chrome Sync, so it synchronizes Chrome between different computers. Google Moderator, I don't know what the heck that is. Google Health, no one uses. I played with that. Google News, subscribed links, Google Voice, you gotta love Google Voice. Google Webmaster Tools, and that's the first of 3 columns. I won't read through the rest of them. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous how many products they have. You don't really think about it until you look at this.
Right. But with their enterprise accounts, like Windows File, for example, I use Google for the mail and calendaring for Windows File. Profile and Google Plus are notably lacking in the eligible features.
Interesting. Well, and maybe it's because it's still beta. Maybe they'll add that.
Yeah, it's still very early days on this.
And Google's notorious for keeping everything in beta forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Google Search is still beta.
Well, their share price certainly is not beta. If you own it, you made like $60 on Friday alone.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the Google Plus interface is actually HTML5, and of course HTML5 specs haven't been finalized, so it's early HTML5. But I think that's one of the things that gives it a nice and smooth interface.
Sure. Well, and it's nice also that it doesn't require anything that you don't have to have Adobe Flash or any of the other add-ons to do it, as long as you have a HTML5 browser.
Right. Right, which Chrome, Firefox. I don't think
any
IE
recent version. We'll check on that.
Maybe IE 9, but I don't think IE 8 was capable of rendering fully HTML5 as the specs are now. But what was I going to say about that? There was something else. Completely lost it.
I think you're right.
Well, so while Danny tries to circle around that one, for folks that are listening in the chat, which is anybody in the chat?
No.
No. Well, for you non-existent folks.
By the way, I didn't really announce this one because I didn't hear back from you guys. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be having to cancel at the last minute again.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Hey, no worries. Hey, why? But I'll interrupt you again, though, to be rude. Can we schedule our next one? That way we can announce it now and I can put it up on the site?
Sure.
Do we want to stick with the same thing? I think we were usually doing the second Sunday, but it didn't work for some reason, so we made it the third this time. What do we want to do next time? In August. This second Sunday, I won't be available, so that makes it easy. How about the third Sunday?
Third Sunday.
That'll be the 21st.
Yep.
At 1 o'clock?
Sure.
That works.
Hey, all right, so for everyone listening, who will be listening recorded because there's no one in the live right now, it will be Sunday the 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern.
All right. So if you were listening live, you could, or paying attention in the chat room, you'd see a link I just posted to an article Mikey pulled up about how Facebook is kind of responding to Google Plus, and big surprise, they're deciding not to necessarily play nice.
Yeah, that surprised me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so what surprises me is in this article from CNN, they're talking about this app developer named Michael Lee Johnson, who decided to try and get into the Google Plus frenzy on the ground level. So he posted hey, add me to Google Plus on his Facebook page and created an ad to, put that out there on Facebook. And they just went ahead and disabled his account.
They didn't just remove the advertisement.
No.
They disabled his Facebook account.
That is correct.
Yeah. So that might be a little excessive for not really breaking any rule.
Right. Now, I don't know if the article is not clear whether they disabled his entire account on Facebook or whether it was just his advertising account on Facebook.
Uh-huh. Good question.
But in any case,
either way,
Clause 11 in their special provisions applicable to advertisers says that you will not issue or make any press release or public statements about your relationship with Facebook without written permission. Johnson had shamefully declared on Google Plus that he was placing the ad. So because he said, hey, I have an ad on Facebook on his Google Plus account, he was not allowed to say that.
Now that's just that they're just speculating here as to why he might have had it removed, because they said in their message, unfortunately, we cannot provide you with the specific violations that have been deemed abusive. Please review our term of service. So they don't actually tell him why they closed down his account and deleted the ad, but they're speculating that perhaps that was it. And then the other speculation there is the clause 4D of advertising guidelines saying that ads cannot harass, insult, or threaten a user.
He might be insulting Facebook loyalists by his mere suggestion that there's another place to socially network.
And then there's 6A, which is the blanket statement. We can do anything we want, anytime we want, without any reason whatsoever.
Right.
You gotta love attorneys.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. It seems ridiculous to delete the ad. It seems even more ridiculous to disable the account.
Yep. It's a petty response, but unfortunately, it affected this one dude pretty extremely, as opposed to them having some sort of policy, or not having a policy and just letting competition happen. This guy's kind of out there as a sacrificial lamb.
Well, and of course, it completely backfired on Facebook. It's like as if Google Plus wasn't getting enough press to begin with. Now it's going to look like Facebook is really scared of Google Plus.
Yeah. I mean, there are like 900 million Facebook users, and so far, as of July 16th, there were like 1,500 people in this one guy's circle. So it's quickly gaining some users.
So how scared should Google be? I mean, should Facebook be?
I don't know. If you remember MySpace had great popularity.
It did.
And then Facebook, when invitations opened up, if you will, quickly replaced MySpace.
And before MySpace, Friendster was kind of the place.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's, and as your group of friends migrate, so must you migrate. If all of my friends are suddenly using some other social network, whether it's Google Plus or something else, if I'm going to use a social network, which Brian may bring up here in a second, then I've got to use the one where my friends are. So, wherever the popularity is. So I don't know if this spells the end for Facebook, but I don't know.
I would say that if Google doesn't make all of the nonsense that Facebook has available, like the farm bills and whatnot, all of the ways for people to waste their time, then Facebook has nothing to fear at all.
Right. People like that stuff. It's very popular.
Yeah.
Brian, you had some statistics on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
About the amount of time spent on Facebook.
Right. I've been listening a lot to my XM satellite radio, channel 128, I think it is, for Bloomberg News. And they talk a lot about the IPOs for tech and how they're really kind of the only bright spot in the market right now. And they're kind of clouding the issue of all of the economic turmoil that the world is in. But they talk a lot about the Zynga IPO that is supposedly upcoming still, I think, and the Facebook IPO that's supposed to happen later this year. And some of the statistics that thrown out, I forget if it was 50 or 60%, but it was something more than the majority of the time spent by Facebook's like loyal users, the folks that use it every day. More than 50% of their time is spent, harvesting corn or whatever on one of those Farm Bill or Civilization type of social networking apps.
Well, and imagine if they were doing something useful with all that time.
Well, and imagine the billions and billions and billions of man hours wasted on Facebook if Facebook now goes away. Like that's
whether or not it goes away, it seems like kind of a waste most of the time.
I agree with you.
Well, but then you have the story like they had on the Today Show on Friday where a mother posted pictures of her son getting a rash or something. And three of her pediatrician or husbands of pediatrician friends wrote to her on Facebook saying, hey, that rash looks different and the symptoms you're describing in your Facebook status are weird. This may be Kawasaki's disease. You should take him to the hospital. And sure enough, symptoms that looked like an innocent old cold or fever or whatever, he was diagnosed with Kawasaki's disease. And in her words, Facebook saved her son's life. That's the headline. So there are,
well, and
useful
there's
applications.
Even
obviously.
less dramatic than that. There are certainly many people who stay in touch with friends and family only through Facebook. I mean, it certainly has its function. I'm just not one of the many millions of people who enjoy the Farmville part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
well, to keep in touch with friends and family, I think that Google is positioned to be more useful for that because of all of the services that they have in their catalog right now.
Right. So that's
Right.
how they're going to pull a lot of people in. Not only do they obviously have a huge amount of traffic, I mean, they control the internet to a large extent, but now they can direct that traffic. Imagine when they want to pull it out of beta and put that on the Google homepage.
Right.
Yep.
You know, it's yeah. Facebook
Picasa, YouTube, Blogger, all of that.
integrated.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
I don't think it's just Facebook that has to be a little concerned about this. I think Twitter needs to be a little concerned about this as well.
Twitter, what's that? I think I remember that.
Getting tweets, if you will, or your buzz or posts. I think that Twitter has a little bit to fear from this as well. And once Google opens it up to the corporate users, the corporate use that Twitter was being put to, I think you'll see it's a little more polished in Google Plus specifically. Google Plus, you can actually follow people without being on their quote unquote friends list. So you can see their status updates without necessarily sharing your information. So they're not necessarily seeing your posts, although in Mike's case on some of your tweets, it's been beneficial to you to tweet about, Comcast sucky support or service.
Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of cases where I've posted about something awful and had a response from someone who could do something.
But I think you can find a corporate use there in Google Plus as well.
Yeah, I mean, you think about in those examples, Mike, the API that they're using to find you, the search function of being able to search through what's hot on Twitter and being able to find dissatisfied customers. I mean, Google should have that in the bag.
Oh yeah.
That should be the easiest thing in the world to do if you're a company. So you could see a mass move away from Twitter to Google because they should be able to make that easier. And I don't know, I've never seen the search API or the trending API on the back end of Twitter, but if Google Plus can actually provide you tracking and statistics of people or your particular topics or issues and show you where they're coming from, and like imagine you were able to spot an outbreak of salmonella from Toll House chocolate chip cookie dough by watching Google Plus feed, and you could alert the CDC and blah blah blah.
Yep,
that'd be pretty powerful. And I think Google is certainly the best technology company in the business. I don't know. It'd be interesting. We'll play this one forward.
I think it's going to be really easy, though. I'm concerned that it's going to be really easy for Google to screw this up. You know what I mean? I can see potential for them to make one little privacy, faux pas or whether it's a bug or a decision or whatever, and turn people off really easy. I think they're going to be cautious about switching networks.
Yeah, that's true. Well, although Facebook's made its fair share of faux pas and blunders, and
sure has.
They've handled them poorly, and there's still, a million people a day.
What else are you going to use if you're not using Facebook?
Yeah, they've got the critical mass right now.
They do. Interesting. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it.
Indeed.
All right. So, speaking of companies stealing ideas from other companies, I've got this story here about Microsoft stores expanding by 2014.
Mm-hmm. I also heard also on Bloomberg about that, and what they're saying is those stores by 2014, I think they're supposed to open 75 more new stores, none of which are currently profitable, but the ones that are doing the best, guess where those are located?
Guess where those are located. I would expect that the ones that would be doing best are the ones not next to another retailer selling the exact same products.
The ones that do best are located right next to Apple stores.
Oh, and by similar products, I meant the same product. I meant like next to a Best Buy. Like I would think it would not make sense to put a Microsoft store next to a Best Buy. But correct. Next to an Apple store, that's a good idea. Because if you're going to copy them, why not go all out? Why not rent the store next door?
Right.
And then you can just
Microsoft
tell
is
your
notorious for its Me Too.
And then you can just tell your contractors, do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I can picture the magazine cover photo of, somebody standing on the corner, and there's a Microsoft on one corner and an Apple store on the other corner, and it's a symbol for how you have to kind of pick your poison, pick your path, and you can't really look back. I don't know. Microsoft is not in the hardware business. Aside from Xbox 360 and the Kinect, which there's a heck of a lot of potential in the Kinect.
There is.
But aside from that, they're not in the hardware business. I don't know what the store is selling.
Their partnership with Nokia might offer a little bit of something. They got out of the MP3 market with the Zune. They retired that. I don't think there's any hardware that you would necessarily buy, but who would they partner with then to sell Microsoft branded PCs?
Now,
you got to think that's what they're doing.
No, I haven't heard that.
Why would you open a Microsoft store otherwise to sell game consoles?
I think that's the $1 million question right there, or probably several $1 million.
Why? Yeah. Why the hell do they have stores?
Yeah, no, I don't think that they are selling Microsoft computers by any means. I certainly haven't heard that. I think that they're selling other computers that run Microsoft Windows.
Right, and that makes sense to me. So who are they partnering with to sell those Microsoft branded machines? Not, maybe branded isn't the right word, but running Microsoft Windows 7.
Right. As opposed to the exact same computer you would buy down the street at the Best Buy or the I was going to say Circuit City, but
Dell, Gateway, Sony, Toshiba, all of that, they're already in Best Buy.
Right. So I don't know what the need is for the Microsoft Store, but I'm not really offended by it. It doesn't bother me in any. But if they're not profitable,
and they're not,
will they ever be profitable? I guess is the question. If they just started, so obviously they're not profitable yet. But I don't know. I don't see people. I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I've been to several Apple stores because I own several Apple products now, and it's always a pleasant experience. The salesmen are not pushy. They're there to answer your questions. You never really have to wait in line unless you happen to be the schmuck that's there for the launch of the new iPad or new iPhone or whatever the new iGadget is. And it's just a kind of a wonderful place to go. I just go in when I pass it in the mall, even if I know I'm not buying anything. I still stop in and tick around with an iPad too because I don't have one. It's pleasant. I don't know what it is, but it is.
We don't have any Microsoft stores around us. I was just looking it up because it'd be interesting to visit one.
Yeah, the closest one is in Illinois.
There's one in Atlanta, Georgia. No, Oak Brook, Illinois. You're right.
Yeah, it's right outside of Chicago.
Well, I'm going to be in Chicago here in about a month. Maybe I'll stop down there and check it out.
Sweet.
I'll go in there and be like, well, why do you exist?
Yeah. What?
So they have. So I went to the Oak Brook, Illinois store here. I just posted the link to this webpage that locates all the Microsoft stores, and it says discover what's inside. They have the answer desk, and it's
not the Genius Bar.
Right. It says right underneath there. It says make an appointment with the answer desk with one of our helpful technical advisors. This is not the Genius Bar, so it says not related, in any way. Yeah, so you got the answer desk, which is the Genius Bar. You have personal shopping. Whether you're researching PCs or shopping for a gift, the experts can help. They have personal training, from emailing photos to surfing the web to making movies. You'll learn in a relaxed and informal setting. They have classes and events. They have in-store services. Boy, I thought all of those were in-store services. Get repairs and upgrades and learn how to build powerful presentations, photo albums, and more. It seems to me to be redundant. And they have community. Connect at the Microsoft Store, attend a community group meeting in our store, state-of-the-art theater, or send your kids to a fun, informative class trip. So they also have a state-of-the-art in-store theater, which sounds very much like Apple stores that I've been in.
Yep.
I don't know. This is very stupid. It's so me too. It's so me too. I'm trying to come up with an excuse for Microsoft here, but come on, this is just, I don't know. It's not good.
No.
So they're going to open a total of 86 of these things by 2014.
It's clearly targeting consumers, not enterprise.
Correct.
So the service is there. I mean, I could see them opening up enterprise locations, like enterprise regional offices for training, support, and things like that. But
so is this the only way they can compete with Apple? People like being able to go into the Apple stores and being able to have that personal experience and be able to talk to knowledgeable people, and you don't necessarily
Apple makes hardware.
Yeah.
They have hardware.
But Microsoft, I believe, is selling hardware here. It's not selling Microsoft. Well, I mean, it's selling Microsoft hardware, but it's not selling Microsoft.
But it's not Microsoft hardware. This is actual Apple, and granted, it's branded now because Apple farmed out the production of all of their...
Evolution of a legendary.
Sorry about the ad, guys. That I just... sorry about that.
So what's the difference between Best Buy selling third-party hardware and Microsoft selling third-party hardware?
Best Buy is an electronics store.
So is Microsoft store, apparently.
Best Buy has no vested interest in supporting one vendor over another.
Correct.
Yeah. And they actually have a better interest in selling Apple because their margins would be slightly higher.
If that's the case, then that's true. Yeah, their interest is in whichever one has the higher margins. That is true.
Well, maybe that's the difference. Best Buy wants to make a profit, and Microsoft doesn't.
But Best Buy, and I don't want to single out Best Buy. I'm trying to think of other similar stores. I was going to say Circuit City, but they're gone now. But whatever, other similar electronics type stores, big box type stores. Fry's, there you go, things like that. My experience in many of those type stores has been that the people there, for the most part, don't know what they're talking about.
I'd agree with that.
And generally, when I've been in an Apple store, although granted I don't know much about Apples, I've certainly felt that the people there know more about the product than I do. And that has not been my experience in places that sell PCs. So maybe they do need something like this in order to compete on that level. Do you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to go somewhere and talk to someone who knew what they were talking about a PC problem or about getting a new PC or whatever, where are you going to go other than one of these electronic stores where you're going to talk to some high school kid who, knows how to play StarCraft?
Right.
Well, Mikey, I think you've got competition if Microsoft ever opens up in Waynesboro or Chambersburg now.
Right. Well, right now, I guess that is where you go. You go to the local PC shop where it's kind of hit and miss. I mean, you're either going to find the professional or you're really not. And
that's the only thing I can see is that they're servicing PCs. And now I'm sure you don't have any hard statistics on it, Mike, but are a lot of your problems fixing Microsoft Windows? You've gotten a virus in Microsoft, your Word application won't load anymore, your Microsoft Access database is hosed up, or Exchange crashed, or something like that?
Yes. I don't understand. As opposed to what? What else would our service be?
Hardware.
Oh, I see. No, I would say the vast majority is software. We certainly have our fair share of hard drives failing and, bad RAM and broken laptop screens and things like that. But the vast majority is certainly software related, especially as far as malware and viruses go.
So is that what Microsoft is trying to do? Create its own service and service?
Well, I'll put it this way. It's a hell of a lot cheaper to do that via mail order.
Yes.
But
that's people don't like calling India.
No, they don't. I mean, it would be a lot more convenient for me to go and talk to somebody. Now, I'm not a good study on this because I know what I'm talking about and can call BS when I hear it, but
or smell it.
Right. So, if you get your non-technical PC user who just surfs the web, types up documents and types up email, they do want to actually physically go and see someone. I've seen it at Mike's shop. They want to talk to someone in person who can understand them and who can effectively communicate back to them what's going on. So is that what Microsoft's trying to do, is get into that service? To me, that almost seems like a conflict of interest, because Microsoft causes these problems.
Exactly. So, there are software issues, and then they're going to get into the hardware business, hardware support business with HP, Toshiba, Acer, everything.
So now we've been pointing out that they are not selling Microsoft hardware. Are they going to do that? If they're going to have 86 stores out there, is it going to be another couple of years and we're going to see the Microsoft Windows computer? Is that where they're headed to? They're already going to. I mean, they're already doing hardware. They have webcams and keyboards and mice and the Xbox and whatever else. Are we going to have them sell hardware as well?
I can't see them pissing off every other computer maker in the world.
That's a good question. All of a sudden, everyone's going to be looking for Linux or something to offer on their computers.
Yeah, exactly. Microsoft will eventually make their own distro. That was a joke. Insert laughter here.
I'm glad you pointed it out.
Like I pointed out, Microsoft has a partnership with Nokia now.
Correct.
So maybe they're going to do the iPhone competitor there with the Windows 7 phone or.
Mm-hmm, sure. Yeah. No, I'm sure Windows 7 phone will be a part of the displays at the Microsoft store.
So here's what I'm thinking. Like, for me, I think there's actually a lot of possibilities, because you think about Apple as its own environment. It's a glass house, and you can do everything that Apple makes. That they all talk to each other, and you can go to the Apple store and you can learn what products are available. You can learn how you can watch your movies on your iPad, also on your Apple TV, and how to hook it up to your HD 52-inch TV or whatever. And they can teach you all of that.
Did we lose him, or did I lose you?
I'm still here.
I'm still here.
Hello.
Hello.
Dan may have lost our audio.
Dan may have lost our audio.
Dan's got to plug in his headset.
Well, so Mike, I'll let you listen. So Microsoft has a lot of those same offerings, but there's too many different avenues through which you can learn about those products, and they're all disjointed. You have one place you can go and learn about all of the different Microsoft products and how they can all talk to each other, and have one expert teach you how to put that together. I mean, it's exactly a Me Too of Apple, but frankly, it was working for Apple, so I kind of can't blame them for giving it a try. Right. I do think there's some potential value in it if they do it right.
Well, and giving it a try is one thing. They've done that now with 8 stores, or how many do they have now?
I think they have 11 now.
And so they're going to, I think you're right, because you said they're going to add 75, and it says total of 86 by 2014.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. And so even if they don't sell a lot of computers themselves, if it gives Microsoft Windows a better name and sells more Windows machines in general,
right,
and people feel like they can go somewhere to get help,
right, or if it just like, okay, I have a Microsoft computer, I'm going to go bring it in even though it's a piece of crap, but my son's actually really interested in getting into Xbox. Oh, well, I'll buy an Xbox while I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah.
And there's Windows phones. I didn't know that. I thought there were only iPhones.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you back with us there, Danny? Maybe he's not back with us.
Or Danny. The gerbil has gone deaf.
No, I'm here. Sorry about that.
That mute button will get you every time.
Yeah.
All right. So we shall see. So looking in our crystal ball, I'm going to state that there will be Microsoft branded PCs for sale in these stores after 2014.
I bet you're right.
How's that for broad and open? It'll be 2054. I'll be like, I told you so. It's after 2014. I'll say this. I'll say within 5 years. So I'm going to say before 2020. Before 2020. That's within 5 years of them opening 86 stores. They're going to have Microsoft branded PCs there.
I don't know. Microsoft has steered clear of the hardware business for quite a long while. So
See, I don't think they have. They've got.
they've tried and they failed on numerous occasions. So look, look at the Zune.
Yeah, the Zune does.
Yeah, but look at the Xbox, man.
And they've lost money on it.
They lose money on the console, but everybody loses money on the console.
Yeah.
Hey, if I go to Microsoft.com/hardware, there are plenty of products that Microsoft sells. They got mice, they got keyboards, they got gaming, they got webcams, they got headsets.
Yeah, they got all the stuff with an 80% markup on it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's rebranded. It's nothing that Microsoft makes.
Yeah. Nobody makes money on computers anymore. The front page of the Target circular this week, there's a $249 Acer laptop with 250 gigs of hard drive space and 1 gigahertz Intel Atom processor inside. $250, and you get a $50 Target gift card back. So your net cost is $200 for this laptop. Right next to it, they're selling a $350 Acer Inspire tablet with $50 off Target gift card. So you can pay $200 and get a full-blown laptop with 250 gigs of storage and a gigahertz of Intel power. Or here's this cool little touchpad Acer tablet thing that holds 16 gigs worth of crap and has a USB port. Nobody makes money on hardware in the laptop or desktop business anymore.
That's true.
That's my guess.
That's true.
You know, the keyboard that comes up on Microsoft's hardware page is actually kind of sexy. The curved one.
Yeah, they have some sweet keyboards and some sweet mice. They can compete with Logitech.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to set this up for a future podcast. But what about Windows 8? Do you have a copy of that yet, Mikey?
I do not.
Are you telling me there's already an 8 out?
Alpha's out. Yep.
Oh.
Is it public release? Or is it just...
I don't know if it's public.
So you don't have a copy yet, right?
Oh, yeah, I might.
You got the in at Microsoft? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
We'll go with that. So have you tried it?
No, I have not. I haven't installed it just yet. I have a friend who has installed it, sent me some screenshots. It looks pretty nice. I love my Windows 7. Windows 7 is actually a good operating system.
Right.
So I'm interested to see what they did to screw it up in Windows 8.
Yeah, so I've heard rumors that the Windows 8 primary interface is going to be very similar to the Windows Phone interface of today, where they have the I forget what they call it, but where they have the front page with all the little squares that can update. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Dashboard.
Dashboard, is that what they call it?
That's my guess.
Oh, here, I'm going to throw this into the chat. Check that out. That's the Wikipedia Windows 8 page. And check out the screenshot there. So it's designed with touchscreens in mind. They anticipate people moving more and more toward the touchscreen. And I don't know if that's the right way to go for a home computer. Because generally speaking, I don't want to have to I'm that lazy. I don't want to have to hold my arm up in the air when I'm operating my computer.
My last Dell was a 17-inch touchscreen, and I used the touchscreen maybe 5 times.
Right, and you use it so that you can show it off, and not when you're alone.
Now, with that said, I was eyeing up for my wife an all-in-one, like a 23-inch all-in-one for our kitchen, so that she can look up all recipes and whatnot, and have it very big displayed. She doesn't have to scroll; everything's there. We can hook it up to the cable so that you can switch between the PC and the cable, and we can watch TV while she's making dinner or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That I can see a touchscreen for, but there are limited uses for it. On a day-to-day basis, no touchscreen.
So was your what reaction there, Brian, to the screenshot?
Well, no, my what reaction was to you saying you don't want to hold your arm up. What do you think you're doing with a mouse? My
arm is comfortably rested. The weight of my arm is on my palm, which is rest below my mouse.
Okay.
Have you seen his muscle definition?
That is correct. I mean, I've got a lot going on right here. It's
Let's go back to the crystal ball for a minute.
Okay. What's in your crystal ball?
The $150 Kinect sensor which is kind of radically changing the idea of being able to perceive a user at the computer level. And fast forward pretty quickly, you get to Minority Report type of displays, and you've got a little glove that you're wearing, and you're controlling the thing from wherever you want.
Do you need to wear a glove?
Right.
Yeah, you have to wear something to track your movement.
Why?
Yeah,
Well, I guess you don't
have to wear anything with the Kinect thing, do you?
Yeah.
Well, but
See, if they just make a laptop screen a little curved so that it could fit the Kinect device like into the laptop itself, you've already got that. You've got your Kinect, you've got your Minority Report interface, and you don't have to touch it.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to hold my hands up while I'm operating it. I mean, put your arms up in front of you and wave it around like you're directing a band. You don't want to be doing that all day.
For you, Mikey, we're just going to put an interface. We're going to put a port into your head.
Yes, see, that's what I want.
And you can telekinetically just...
Then I don't have to move my fingers anymore either. I like
It'll have a wireless transmitter and receiver so that you just think and your computer does everything for you.
I like that a lot. Now you're talking.
We're getting there.
All right. Moving on. So I think we left the best story for last.
This is funny.
This is about a friend of Dan's. No, that's not actually accurate. So who wants to introduce this one?
Go for it, Danny.
No. That's all you, Mikey. It's your story.
All right. So I'm going to post the story here. And again, all of these stories, the links to everything we've talked about, all of that is going to be in the show notes if you go to techguy.tv. So this story, the headline, you got to love the headline, Wi-Fi hacker neighbor sentenced to 18 years. So just reading the headline alone, you're supposed to think this guy hacked into their neighbor's Wi-Fi and got 18 years in prison. Not exactly accurate, but that certainly catches your attention. So the actual story is, I guess these neighbors, what do I want to say, claimed or whatever that this guy had kissed their 4-year-old son on the lips. And I think the story went that they had reported that and were concerned about child molestation or something. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Tons of fun. It's your summer.
And so in any event, he was a little offended that of these allegations. So in order to respond to these allegations, what he chose to do was hack into their wireless internet. And it was not an open connection. It was an encrypted connection, but unfortunately it was using WEP. So it was practically an open connection. Any one of us could hack into a WEP connection very easily. Not that any of us ever have. And, right, Danny?
Sorry, I was reading. Say it again.
Nothing. I was just claiming that you hack into web connections. And
well, maybe anyway.
Yes. So it's possible, we've heard, to hack into web connections.
Yes.
For those who are listening, you should use WPA or WPA2 rather than WEP. Because otherwise you can have creepy guys like this hack into your web connection, so he's actually on your internet connection. And then what he chose to do is go on to MySpace, create a MySpace page for this guy, and put up child pornography on there, write nasty things, write things saying that, I'm such a great attorney, pretending to be this neighbor. I'm such a great attorney that I can get away with this. I'll just claim someone hacked into this page and put this up here. And, it gives you plausible deniability. And then he went and he sent emails to his coworkers with, saying what a fox you are, and including nasty images on the emails. And what else did he do? These sort of things. Am I missing anything good, guys?
Nope, you're on it.
So then this guy's law firm comes in and puts a data sniffer. Oh, I did miss part of it. He had the Secret Service come visit him.
Yeah.
This attorney who's the victim of everything we're describing here had the Secret Service come visit him because from his IP address and from his Yahoo email account were sent these terrible messages saying that this is a terrorist threat, take it seriously, and claiming that he's going to hurt some politicians. I forget exactly who. So so after this they put a packet sniffer on this guy's connection and look through the router and discover that there's some unknown device connected to his internet. Perhaps he isn't the one doing all of these things, and they come to trace it to his neighbor's computer, who has actually been doing all of these things.
This guy clearly. So when you first sent this to me, I was a little offended for the the what is it called? Defendant. Okay.
Sure.
I thought
The
oh
hacker
God,
in this
guy,
case.
This guy used somebody's wireless network because they left it unsecured.
Correct.
So,
Which is not the case, but correct.
No, exactly. So then I got down to what he did, and I was just the second paragraph in, and I was already give him 18 years.
Yep.
I don't think that,
this,
that it's excessive at all.
I'm going to read the second paragraph of this article for those interested. Barry Ordoff, maybe 46 years old, reportedly hacked into his next-door neighbor's Wi-Fi network in 2009 and used it to try and frame them for child pornography, sexual harassment, various kinds of professional misconduct, and to send threatening emails to politicians, including Vice President Joe Biden.
Clearly, this guy was a little off kilter.
Just a little bit. Like, how is
Yeah.
that's a lot. That is a lot. This guy got 18 years in prison, and what's even more interesting to me is he's also has to be registered as a sexual, what do they call it, a sex offender? And so he's registered as a sex offender now for the kiddie porn that they found on his computer, which he may have only downloaded for the purposes of putting on this guy's MySpace page.
Clearly, he knew where to get it, so I'm okay with it.
Well, I don't know. In his defense, I suspect I could type in kiddie porn into Google and find something, but I don't know. I'm not going to try it. But
I would recommend not.
But I thought that was interesting, though, because even if that were the case, I'm kind of okay with him. Getting the book thrown at him. Like, it's kind of a technicality in that case. Like, yeah, he may have had kiddie porn. I'm not sure that he was really looking at it so much as getting it in order to do this other crime. But
I think you got to go back to what incited all of this, though. He got upset about something and irrationally upset about it.
Yes, that's interesting. So
the last paragraph in the article says that the victim family told the FBI that they believed this guy was upset that their personal care attendants that looked after their two disabled twin daughters had parked their cars in front of his house. Are you kidding me?
It's funny how these things start with neighbors. You hear of these interesting different wars within neighborhoods all the time, where it's that kind of stupid thing. Like, someone parked in front of my house. Well, it is public parking.
Right.
And I don't know if it was in this case, but I've actually had that discussion with a neighbor before at a different home, not where I live now. And they were very upset where I parked. And I said, well, I can move it. I don't mind. I can park over on the other side. And they said to me, they were very unhappy. They said, well, why don't you park in front of your own house? I said, well, I can park wherever I want, but because I'm nice and neighborly, I'd be glad to move it over there since you asked so nicely. Very strange. People get upset about the strangest things.
Yeah.
And then they were kind of taken aback by the fact that I was happy to move it and that I was rather polite about it. And I think they even apologized to me later, but it's just they kind of wanted to start a war, and I don't get that.
Don't make an enemy when you can make a friend, right?
So as a result of that, after that interaction, I hacked into their wireless network, and I don't get it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm completely okay with the results of this.
So now there will be many people who are going to say 18 years is excessive for hacking into a wireless network and posting things. He did not physically harm anyone. He did not, you know what I'm saying? 18 years is a long time for...
No, he put doubts into people's mind professionally and personally to this guy's character.
Right. And it's practically, I don't want to call it terrorism. That's overused today, but you know what I mean? It's really, what's the word I want to use?
It would be considered terroristic threat. It absolutely would be considered a terroristic threat to this guy himself.
Harassment. That's the word I'm trying to think of. It really is harassment of the, of this family. Like they every time they turn around, there's something else being, allegated against them.
Right. Yeah. This is, yes, it's a long sentence for apparently this guy's a first offender in this type of crime. But it does not seem to be terribly undue. It seems like he earned it.
Well, and what was interesting is I thought I had read that this really wasn't his first time. He was a first-time offender.
He said this guy is a father of two, and a couple of years ago he turned down a 2-year plea agreement. Oh wait, no, this was
that same thing because this happened back in 2009.
Now, Ardolph had no criminal record, but an investigation revealed that he'd also hijacked the Wi-Fi of other neighbors and terrorized them as well.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so he wasn't caught before necessarily,
Right.
but it's not like this is a one time, that he's done this.
Yeah.
They found that he has done this to other people before. Like that's his way to get back at them.
Right.
I don't get it.
Wow.
Super. Yeah, so it's. I bet he's real happy now that he turned down that 2-year plea agreement, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right, 18 years. Have fun.
Sucker.
All right. So the moral of the story today of today's episode was brought to you by the letters WPA and the number 2. See,
we really need a soundboard here because I would love to play Mr. Rogers right now.
Well, that was not Mr. Rogers. That was
Sesame Street.
That was Sesame Street. But Mr. Rogers, yeah, won't you be my
Would
neighbor?
you like to be my neighbor?
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah,
I'll give
that's
you that.
good call.
Yeah, I see that. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. We're gonna make that a wrap. Unless you guys had anything else you want to talk about, I don't want to cut you guys off.
Nope. Great show. I got to get going.
Great. Well, I appreciate you being here. Say hi to everybody for me. And thanks for everyone who's watching. Anyone want to give a shout out to a website? Danny, are you updating your website anymore?
No, not currently. I'll give a shout out maybe the next time.
All right. So Danny's going to shout out for techguy.org. And Brian, are you updating your blog? I haven't looked recently.
Not so much, but I'm at brianmhansen.com.
There you go. brianmhansen.com. Check him out. And check us out again. The next one's going to be Sunday, August 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern. And techguy.tv has all the details. See you guys later.
See you then.